The first category of functions that we'll be looking at are aggregators. So this set of functions allow us to summarize our data based on however we want to summarize. Do we want to see the total? Do we want to see the average? Are we looking for the highest number within that particular list? Are we using for the lowest? Or you want to do a count within our data set? But the one that we'll be starting with here is functions that can give us total of our numbers. Assuming that we have a table like this that has numbers, and we would like to know what the total number is, or what the total of all of this number is, then we'll have a function that we can use in Excel, which is called the sum function. So the sum function and the syntax is pretty simple. But while we are starting, one of the key things you need to know is that for any function that you want to work with, the very first thing you need to do is to stay where you want the result to be in. You click on the cell that you want the result to be in, and then you start with an equality sign. Starting with an equality sign is what sends a signal to Excel that you are about to work with a function in Excel. But before we go the route of the function to use for these, it is possible, or it is important that we also note that once you type in equal to sign, you can actually still not work with functions. So maybe you have a few of the cells to sum up, to add up. You can point to the cell like this. I pointed to D8, I put a plus sign. I point to the next cell, I put a plus sign. I point to the next cell, I put a plus sign. This eventually, if I continue this way, I pick all of the cells that has the numbers, then I would be able to still get the result that I'm looking for. But this is not an efficient way to manage this. So what I would do instead is I will start with the equality sign, and I will call on the sum function. So I need to start typing S. And when I type S, you see that IntelliSense comes up, and now I have a list of all of the functions that begin with S. If I type U, it further narrows down the list to something much slimmer. If I add M to this, now I see sum at the top. If I press tab to select the sum function, so the sum function has just something beneath it. So this is what gives us an information about what the function needs for it to work. So what this is asking for is number 1, number 2, and like that, which tells you that it is asking you to supply the numbers that you want to add up for it to now give you what the total would be. So I just need to come in here, select this first number, and remember how we normally will select a range. I do Ctrl+Shift down arrow to select all of the numbers downwards. I close my bracket and I hit enter, and this gives us the total of all of these numbers. How can we confirm this? I highlight all of these numbers again. I look at the summary that we get at the bottom, and this just tallies with what we have in here. So our total is correct. Another way to get the total is to use what is called the AutoSum. So assuming that I want the result to be somewhere below, I can do Alt equals to, that is a shortcut for AutoSum, and Excel already picks that the numbers I want to add up, they are actually at the top because I am staying below these numbers. I hit enter, and this gives me the total of all of these numbers. What if I want to use the AutoSum function right in here? So I do Alt equals to, but now Excel can only see items to the left, so it's guessing that the numbers I want to sum up, they are to the left, but because they are not actually to the left, I just need to point to the actual numbers I want to sum up like this, and I hit enter on my keyboard. So this is how to work with the sum function to use it to get the actual total for any set of numbers that we have within our workbook.